So we are live. Hello everyone. We hope you're very excited for today's event. We'll just wait for a couple of more minutes for others to join in.
Okay, so hello everyone. I am Achal Mishra, one of the core team members from DSC UMIT, and I wholeheartedly welcome you all on behalf of the entire DSC UMIT team to today's insightful session on APIs 101 with Postman. So, about our speaker, Mr. Ali Mustufa Shaikh, is a student community manager at Postman. Many of you must be knowing him if you have been attending our events regularly and if you are in general a tech enthusiast. So today, Mr. Ali will be covering all that you need to know about APIs from the very basics and how Postman can be a great tool if you are someone who is into APIs. So yes, over to you, Mr. Ali.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Please bring my screen up so that we can get started. I'm not able to see my presentation.
The presentation is there in the stream.
No, I'm connected with another device. It doesn't seem like it is there.
It's there. It's there. You can
Now?
check it now. It's there.
Yeah, but I'm not visible now. Yeah. Okay. Uh, okay. Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. I hope you can see my screen right now and see me as well. Um, so today we're going to talk about APIs, APIs 101 using Postman. We're going to kind of do an in-depth hands-on tutorial. So basically, make sure you have joined using your laptops and not your mobile phones because we'll be doing hands-on. So I want you to engage with me. And also, I want your chat to be engaged. So I'll be asking a lot of questions and I want answers. Okay. So I would I would not continue unless I receive a lot of answers, right? I really want it to be, engaging, and I want you to participate in it as much as I am participating. So let's get started, and then we can, kind of talk about APIs, we talk about Postman, and then the whole aim of this session is to promote API literacy. And yeah, wait till the end to know more about different programs which we have, and also apply to become a student expert like Achal is. You can also become a student leader, and you can apply that knowledge into your campus and then do wonderful things. So without wasting much of our time, let me get started with my presentation. My name is Ali Mustafa, and I am a student community manager here at Postman. I have been visiting a lot of colleges lately, and I have traveled to 100 plus colleges in India. With having the landscape idea about how students are in India and how the education system is currently, I my vision is to empower every student so that they experiment when they are in their college years and don't waste their professional years doing so. And with that vision, I have joined Postman, and our vision as a Postman is also promote API literacy at every campus because APIs are fundamentals of computer science and information technology. And if you don't know about APIs, then you will definitely have a hard time learning them later on or maybe implementing it in your job profile. So today's agenda starts from talking about basics of API, moves towards understanding how APIs really work in real life, doing some hands-on, trying out things together, following up resources. If you are excited about it, you can go ahead and follow up with the resource. Some Q&As in between and at the end. So keep asking your questions because I'm looking at the chat on my left-hand side. You will see me a lot of, I'll be peeping a lot on the left-hand side where the chat is situated. So I'll be constantly monitoring it. If you have a question, don't hesitate to ask in between the session. And also you can keep it till the end. So I usually prefer to take it in between because it solves the doubt there and there. Okay. Apart from that, I want engagement. Okay. And I'm asking for it. It's very simple. So I would like you folks to kind of, work together and then, have together, like, do the session together. So yeah, I usually explain the concept of APIs as a restaurant. Okay. So if you have ever been in a restaurant, you might notice that you directly go to the restaurant and you don't directly step into the kitchen. You sit on the table and then someone comes and takes your order. Okay. The person who comes and takes your order is a waiter who is actually accepting your order and then going to the kitchen. You're not the one who is going to the kitchen unless you're a madman or a chef or a cook who wants to kind of go into the kitchen and have fun. So you as an attendee there, as as a consumer, you would sit there and you would wait, for the waiter, give him the order, and then he will go to the kitchen, bring it back, and serve it to your table. The whole process is very simple, where the waiter is acting as an API and helping you with your things on the table, providing you a really great service. As we move forward, I don't want you to keep waiter as an example in terms of understanding what an API is, because API gets more complicated. Okay. And waiters don't travel across the internet, obviously. So we need a better example of this. Okay. And that's where I take an example of social media. You might see billions and millions of people using social media every day. How many of you use social media? Do you use Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook or LinkedIn in this case? Because LinkedIn also has stories nowadays. So yeah. If yes, give me a thumbs up in the chat. Like yeah, I use Shivani uses it. That's good. I also use it. I am an Insta influencer. I post photos about different food items, etc., etc. But yeah, it's fun to make people jealous, right? Okay. What about others? No others use it. Only Shivani is here. I see around 10, 12 people out there. Okay. So when we talk about, let's say, using a social media app, what you would actually do is open, let's say you want to post a story. What you would do is you would open the Instagram and then kind of, try to grab a good image with a filter on, right? And once you do that, it actually requests your hardware, the Instagram software. It is a software, right? It is an application. And it requests your hardware, the camera, to give the access. Okay. Once the camera is like, okay, I'm free, I can give you the access, Instagram gets the access and clicks a photo. Now, once you click a photo, I'm not that creative, okay? But you will see a lot of people who are very creative. What they would do is they would add GIFs, they would add music, they would add, different kinds of elements on top of that. Let's consider an example of adding a GIF. What do you think? Instagram also has a lot of GIFs which they produce? Not really. They use a third-party API, which is Giphy, from which they use the APIs and then kind of, put it across on enable you to use that GIF onto your stories. That is a public API. Now, let's say you are not that creative. You want to just upload that, right? You upload it to the server. And that uploads to the Instagram internal servers, which is not accessible by public. And it is done via a private API, which Instagram is using. And then it enables that to be visible to different people out there. For example, your friends, your followers, or if you're a public account or a private account based on different permissions. You will learn about three different types of APIs: a hardware level API, a web interface level API, which was a private API which Instagram is using to upload its image on its own server, and then a public API which you can also use in your application. You can use Giphy API to fetch some really cute cat photos. If you're a dog lover, you can do that and fetch dog GIFs as well. And you can use that API. So that is a public API. Anyone can use it. You might be wondering who uses this kinds of API. Literally everyone uses API. Okay. It's not like there's an API for everything. There's a cat API, there's a Spotify API, there's a Google API, and then there's bunch of other APIs. Now, because we are with DSCs, I would love to give you an example of Google, how Google uses one API across different products. And that's where we are talking about, kind of collaboration. We're talking about building things. Okay. And in this, in this modern world, we don't build, monotonous things like one big piece. What we try to do is we try to build small piece and we combine them together so that, the users have a great experience. And that's where I kind of come across a very good concept about Legos. Okay, I hope you have played with Legos. Have you, folks? Nana, have you played with Legos? Yeah, like, I guess my childhood went in playing with Legos, like completely playing with different, making stuff and doing a lot of different things about Legos, right? I love it. Yeah, I also love it. Like, I love the part where you don't have to make it, but you have to break the things which your little brother makes, right? That is my favorite part uh, in playing with Legos. So when you talk about Lego, for people who don't know about Legos, right, they are plastic blocks, like bricks. You attach them together and make a system. The great thing about it is the possibilities are endless. Okay, so whatever you combine together, you can make a bridge, you can make a building, you can make a car, you can make a tractor, you can make anything. Okay, the only limit there is your imagination. And as a child, I used to play with Lego bricks for endless hours, creating buildings, planes, cars, spaceships, and whatever you can imagine. And what I learned from that concept is when we talk about APIs, they are just software version of Legos. What they do is you can actually make an API, let's say Auth API. You can use it across your products for authenticating users. You can create, an API which can give access to different users. You can also decompose that API and combine it with, different features and make minor changes, make bigger changes as you seem right. And that is where I usually display this image of combining the power of little things, which are called as microservices, and making your software amazing for your users. Let me give you a very simple example. How many of you use Gmail? How many of you use, Google Maps, Google Drive, all the Google products? If you talk about me, I use Gmail every single day. Like the first thing I do in the morning is check my Gmail, right? And if you talk about maps, like every single time we use these, platforms to have a work done. But what I want you to understand is the experience. Do you create individual accounts on Google Map, YouTube, and all these different products of Google? Do you do that? Do you create individual accounts there, and you need to remember now 10 different usernames and 10 different passwords? Mhm. Or do you maintain a very single, kind of an approach, or you use a very single Google account to sign in into this all services created by Google? Not just that, you also use Google account to sign in into third-party apps which are not created by Google, but you sign in with Google option, like Canva. I usually do sign in with Google. Okay. Whenever there is an option of sign in with, an application, I usually use sign in with Google. Okay. Or sign in with GitHub or sign in with LinkedIn. What it does is Google has created an auth API. The same API Google uses internally across all its application, not just its own application, but also enables developer to use that API and authenticate their users who are even not using Google in the very first place. And that's the power of APIs. That's the power of combining little microservices together, bringing them in one place, and then pushing it forward.
Hello.
So what is the definition of API? The definition of API is very simple: application programming interface. When we talk about APIs, we are usually talking about web APIs in today's world. So remember that we are talking about web APIs right now. We are not talking about, hardware level APIs or, bunch of different APIs. You will find APIs being used by organization, companies, startup, enterprises, corporations, governments, and literally everyone out there. Okay. So APIs are everywhere, and every company uses them because of its flexibility and because of its complete structure. Now, when we talk about using APIs, right, it's basically very simple. There are two simple methods which you want to use, which you want to know about while using APIs. The first one is requesting, and the second one is receiving. Okay, so just imagine the whole scenario of a restaurant again. Okay, what you would be doing is you would be going into a restaurant and you'll be requesting a menu. In the menu, you will be selecting the starters, you'll be selecting, the main course, you'll be selecting the desserts. And then you will be, obviously like giving it properly to the waiter, else he will just bring something else. Okay. And once you order that, you give it, you request it, then comes the waiter with the output, which is receiving. So what you do is you receive that. Now, obviously, if you asked for a paneer biryani and there is no paneer in the biryani, you will be, disheartened and you would not want to eat something similar, obviously, right? So you want even the receiving end to be very proper, very, very structured manner, so that whatever you requested, you're receiving that properly and you can decode it, you can eat it properly, and you can be happy at the end of the day. So when we talk about APIs, we have the similar structure. When we talk about requesting, we actually make the request, and it combines a lot of formulas. Okay, not math formulas. We're not talking about maths here, but yeah, it is a basic simple formula of combining different things together to request an API. Okay, and when we talk about making a request, we talk about three different ingredients there. The first one is a method. There are multiple types of method. There's a get method, there's a post method, there's a put method, there's a delete method, multiple types of method. By default, you might be using, a get method in your browser. Okay, and browser is your API client in short. Okay, we'll talk about it later on, but yeah, remember that. Then comes address, which is basically the host name. For example, google.com, linkedin.com, postman.com, and so on. And then there's a path, which is where the resource is located. So it might be, let's say, a postman.com/downloads, where the download of the application is available, and so on and so forth. Now, let me elaborate more about the methods. When we talk about methods, there are basically four methods which are very widely used. There are like 10, 12 methods, but these are the 4 which are very, very widely used. The very first one is when you are, let's say requesting a website, you're actually sending a get method. Okay. And get method helps you to retrieve information. So your browser by default uses a get method. Okay. And it is an API client, which uses a get method to get the information and display it right, so that you can have a look at it. Then there's a post, put, and delete method. We cannot directly request a post or a put or a delete method in your browser because your browser is not structured in that way. But we can use Postman to do that, and that's why we are using Postman. Okay, yeah. Then comes the host and the endpoints. Okay, so when we talk about the host, it is, let's say, LinkedIn.com, as I told you earlier, right? That is the domain name. But remember, resource is very, very important. So the resource, which is just after the host name, is what matters the most. For example, I want to go to the home page, so that will be /feeds. If I go to the connection page, it will be /connections. If I go to, let's say, the notification page, it will be /notifications, and so on and so forth. Okay, so these are different resources which you can get on a specific server. Now, it is not mandatory that you will get that resource, but it depends, like if the resource is available, if the resource is not available, and so on and so forth. You're going to use that to call different resources. Okay, so remember that, a very, very important aspect. And then the third ingredient is, so it is basically what we say in the restaurant terms is namak swad anusar, okay, meaning that you add salt as per your taste. And that's what we talk about in the very third part, specifying details as needed. So if you need query params, if you need to mention headers, if you need to mention bodies and so on and so forth, you need to add them. Now, because this is something which is more like an optional thing, we are going to talk about this when we are doing practicals and not right now. Okay, so yeah, do remember to kind of come back to me in the practicals and ask me what this is, else I would just be like a school teacher and forget that and then move forward. Now comes the part 2, which is receiving the request. Okay, now when you send a request, obviously you will get a response and you will receive a response, and this is where it is divided into 3 different parts: status code, headers, and then body data. Okay, what is a status code? Can someone tell me what does 404 means? Mhm. A very simple 404 code. I see a good number of people here. Error. Okay, Shivani says error. Uh-huh. Not found. Yes, you can say, 404 not found, right? Yes. So I can say that, engagement not found in this session because I see only 2 people. There's Shivani, there's Sandesh who is acting right now, and there's Bacteria. I don't know what that is, but interacting. So yeah, welcome. Okay. So I can say that, engagement not found, right, in the chat. Like a lot of people, I see people sleeping there. Okay. So status code. There are multiple types of status code, right? There's 200, meaning everything is okay. Anything between 200 and 300, meaning that your request was good, it was successful, or it is processing or something, it is like your pass. But anything from 400 to 500 means you're not in a good state. Okay, so either you did a bad request, either you did an unauthorized request, either the resource was not found or something. You don't need to remember all this. That's why we are using Postman, right? So Postman will tell you the status code, but it is better to understand them and learn them because it gives you a really good idea. Okay. Then we talk about headers. Okay. We will definitely, talk about headers when we are doing practicals again, because that will make more sense. And then body. So body is the gold mine, not because it has gold, real gold, but because it has data, and data is not less than any gold. And this is where we talk about the main ingredient, the main item, our paneer biryani there, right? Which is basically having extracting that and using that into our application. Now you might be wondering, what is Postman doing here, right? So let me give you a very simple glimpse. What is Postman? So I usually say in a very, very simple terms, Postman is the browser for APIs. Okay. what it does, it allows you to work with APIs in such a great manner. You as a beginner, you will fall in love with it. Okay, I've been using Postman for past 3 years, and I have realized that whenever I'm working with APIs, I'm working with Postman, and it is a collaborative tool. So earlier, when I used to work with Postman, I was alone, and it was fun. But as a team, it provides you such a collaborative environment for API development. You will not find it anywhere else. It is just like providing you with Git controls, providing you with version controls, commenting together, having fun together, building things together. It's awesome. We are going to work with it, so don't worry. Now, why to use Postman, right? That is also a very good question. So typically earlier, when I was used to work with APIs and I didn't knew about Postman, I would work with call commands. Now that is very boring, and not unless you are a very technical guy or a girl or a person who is very very technical and very well versed with call commands. It is fun, but if you're not, I feel like me, then that is a problem. So what we kind of do that, why we use Postman is it enables us a very simple UI and UX, which helps us to send this request in a very informative manner and help us to decode the response, so that working with an API should not be difficult, because your main focus is to build an application at the end of the day and not just learn that tool which you're using. So here we make it very simple. Okay, we make it very simple to use APIs. We make it very simple to test APIs, and also kind of make your own API. And that's where we go to hands-on demonstration. So I want you to go to this URL. Okay, I'll open this URL right now so that you folks can also have a look at it. I'll also paste this in the chat right there so that everyone can have a look at it. Okay, I have posted it in the chat. You should be able to see that. Okay, I have added it there. This is basically a public workspace. Okay, we are going to talk about it more, but right now, just move in there and have a look. Okay, so what is this? This is a public workspace. What happens here? We actually, fork it, we work with it, right? And then we move forward and learn about APIs. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to see the collaborative nature of this public workspace. So what we are going to do is on the left-hand side, click on basics of API. So on the left-hand side, on the very left-hand side, click on basics of API. Okay. And it will open a window on the right hand side. So you can see a window right here, okay, which is where you will see the endpoint URL, bunch of documentation. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to click on the second option, which is comments. Click on the second option, which is comments. It will take a minute to load. Okay. Here you can see it is loading, and here it is. So here you can see, hello, it's Heidi from GN University. Hello, it's Aliston MAXT. So I want you to comment your name, hello from India, or hello from your college name, maybe hello from UMIT, or hello from DSC UMIT, or something like that. Okay. So please go in there and comment. It is live, so I'll be able to see it right there. What you comment, you can see there are like more than 157 comments out there. So yeah, it would be fun. Once you comment, give me a thumbs up in the chat so that I know you have done that, and then I can move forward. I at least need a comment to move forward. Okay, so yeah. Okay, I see a comment there. Hello, it's Mugda from India. Hello, Mugda. Anyone else? Where is Shivani? Shivani was active. Did she went 400? Sorry, 404. I also see Sandesh in the chat who was active. Where are you, Sandesh? Send me a Sandesh. Maybe a hi. Okay. So here you can see you can actually collaborate and you can actually comment together, and then I can also assign things. So let's say I can go here and I can be like, hey, Smith, have a look at this comments. Okay. So I can be like, have had this. Oh, I see another comment here. Hello, Arshil from DSC UMIT. Welcome, Arshil. So you can see I can actually tag people here. Okay, I can tag people. I can tag them. I can collaborate with them. I can have fun there. It is like a public chat where I can assign as well. Okay, I can tag them. I can assign work. It is full-fledged version control. So what I want you to do is I want you to go here. You can see there are 701 folks here, right? So click on fork copy. Click on create fork. Okay, and then add a fork label as anything you want. Fork label just helps you distinguish the parent from the child. Okay, so it's very simple. You can add. I usually prefer to add date, so I will add March, and today is 13, so I'll add March 13. I'll follow it up by my username, that is ILE. Okay. Once I do that, make sure you select the workspace as my workspace, which is basically your public workspace. Okay. So once you do that, it should be visible like this and click on fork. Cool. Please do that, Sam, and tell me if you were able to successfully do that. Okay. Just refresh it, Shivani. You just need to refresh it and it will work exactly, the same. So yeah, just refresh it. So please go to the URL which I sent right now, add a fork label, and the workspace is my workspace, and click on fork. Once you're done, give me a thumbs up in the chat. Amazing. Okay. What about others? I see Shivani has done it already. So as you can see, it reloads. And so let me go to postman.com. Let me see the number of folks there. Okay. Because I will be able to see how many people did the fork. It was 701. Mine is 1, so it becomes 702. Let me see what about others, what others are doing there. So this is my public workspace. I see 3 people saying done. I see 4 folks. 3, yeah, 3 people said done. So 3. Okay, cool, not a problem. Okay, so I'm assuming 3 people are active with me. So I'll rely on these 3 people, moving forward. One is Shivani, one is Sandesh, and one is Magda. Okay, cool. So let's go and get started. So what I want you to do is I want you to click on Get Job. Okay, click on Get Job. Okay, and here let us do a very simple thing. Okay, so let us first go to the documentation. Because I don't know the URL, what the URL is here, right? So before we get started, we need to go to the documentation. And the very easy way to go to the documentation is to hover on this collection and click on this 3 dots and view documentation. It is like, like around some option below merge changes. Okay, I don't remember the number of option which one this is, but there you will see a view documentation option. Click on view documentation option and it will open the documentation for you. So here you can see this is the endpoint URL which you want to work with. So copy this URL. Copy this URL. Come back to the get request. Okay, now here you can see it actually looks like a Chrome tab, right? So you can always switch between the documentation and building your request. Okay, so it is like a Chrome tabs, multiple tabs. You can also add a new tab, but we are not going to do that right now, but we'll do it later on. Okay, so yeah, add the URL here. So paste that URL here. Okay, and wait. Don't hit a send. Don't do anything, and just wait. Okay. Now, I usually explain this is the complete console of Postman. Okay, so I usually explain this in a very easy and understandable way. Okay, now I usually divide this into 3 parts. Part 1 is on the left hand side. I will just zoom this complete part. Then part 2 is basically this part of the upper part here. which is building the request. And then part 3 is this part, which is the response, which is empty right now because we haven't sent any request. So it is empty right now. There's nothing there. Okay. Now, when we talk about part 1, it is where you can see collection. What is a collection? Nothing but a folder. Okay. And what is a workspace? Nothing but different types of folders together. So multiple collections together makes a workspace. Okay. And multiple requests together makes a collection. So if you click here, see if you see my previous one, you can see multiple requests together, and that is what a collection looks like. Okay. You can add a collection by clicking on new button. And here you can see you can create a new request, you can create a new workspace, you can create a new collection. Now there are advanced concepts there, but we are not going to cover there because that is not something which I am, kind of covering right now, but you can definitely have a look at it. One important thing which I want to show you is the history. Okay. So as I told you, it is a browser for APIs. So you can see history in browser, and that's why you can see history here as well. Okay. There's no e-coordinator tab. So make sure you don't search for something crazy, okay? Because there's no e-coordinator tab, so everything will be available in the history out here. Now, making the request. Here you can see there are multiple things. One is the URL. Then in the browser, we don't get an option to select the method, but here we are getting the method option. There are multiple types of method like get, post, put, and delete. These are the 4 methods which we are going to talk about. So there's a get method here. Then there's params. Okay, we are going to talk about it later on, but right now let it be. Authorization is there, header is there, body, multiple things. Okay. Now I want you to send a request here using the send button and tell me what do you see as a response. Hit on send and tell me what do you see as a response. You should be able to see, a text like this. Hey there, this is a simple demo made for making an API server made by Ali Mustufa Shaikh. That is the home page. Okay. And you should see, the response field with more details. Earlier it was empty. Now you can see there's a body, there's a cookie, there's a header. Okay. There's a test. Then there is on the right hand side status code. There's a time, how much time it took. Then there's a size. Now I want you to resend this request and see the time again. Resend this request. And the time is 280 milliseconds. It just dropped from 1000 milliseconds to 280 milliseconds. Send it again. And it will be from 200 milliseconds to maximum 400 milliseconds, something like that. Okay, so you can see 265. If you keep sending it, it will be something like that. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to go to headers. And in headers, you can see there is no header added, but there are 5 hidden headers. Click on these hidden headers, which are automatically added. And in the connection, uncheck this. Uncheck this one. The connection one, uncheck this. So go to headers in the params authorization, go to headers and uncheck this connection one. It says keep alive, right? So if you hover over it, what does it do? It says that we recommend using this header. Okay, it is because it will make a direct connection and give you a faster response. Now hit a send. And you can see that it took 274 milliseconds. But if you try to, do it again, it will give you, like a lot. It will give you 500 milliseconds, 700, and it keeps increasing. The reason for that is because it doesn't give you a stable connection, and it is automatically added. Okay, unless you want to delete that, so you can definitely delete it. But yeah, this is something which is added. You can also add multiple new headers, and you can see what others header, all the other headers do by looking at this I button. Cool. Now we want to get some jokes. Okay. And for that, what we are going to do is we are going to add a resource path. And the resource path from the documentation, let's have a look at the documentation. And you can see the resource path is /joke. So let me copy this. Go back to the get request on the top. And then paste it here. Hit enter. And you can see in the response, I get a joke. Do you see a joke? If yes, give me a thumbs up. If you also see the joke. Yes, yes. You will be able to see a random joke. Again, not this joke. Obviously, you will see a random joke. Yes, yeah. So here you can see every time you send a request, you will see a random joke out there. Okay. Now on the server, there are only 4 jokes. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. So you will see only these jokes, right? They are not that funny, but yeah, I have written them. So yeah, it just makes sense. You will also have an opportunity to add your joke. So yeah, if you're funny, that is awesome. Cool. Now what I want you to do is I want you to retrieve only a specific joke. Let's say I want to only have joke number 1 or joke number 2. So in that case, I need to make sure that the joke is proper, right? I need to make sure the server is getting that information that I only want a joke, and for that I'm using query params. Okay, so in the query params, I can add the parameter which I want to segregate the joke from, and I can move forward. Here, I'm not using a query param, but I'm using a path variable. Okay. So as soon as you add colon and ID in front of the URL, okay, you should be able to see, a new section there which says path variable. And then you will see ID as the key and add the value as 1. Add value as 1 and hit a send button. What you would see is the joke number 1. You can try it with the value 2. You will see joke number 2 in return. You can try it with 3. You can see joke number 3. Now I want you to try it with 10 and tell me what do you see and what is the status code. Okay. Try it with value 10. Tell me what do you see and what is the status code. Waiting for you folks to do this. Okay. Waiting for 3 folks. Ideally. So yeah. Yes. What do you see? You see that joke not found, right? It will say that, hey, the joke which you're requesting is not found, and the error code is 404, which is not found, right? Meaning that joke 10 is not existent right now. Okay. So I hope you understand the get method. Okay. So this is how the get method works. Now let us try to add a joke onto the server. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to go there. Okay. In the left hand side, basics of API, click on these 3 dots and click on the third option, which is called as add request. First, second, third option, which is called as the add request. Okay, click on it and it will open a new tab. Now name the request. I don't like nameless request. The reason for that is you were born, your parents give you a sweet name, right? So yeah, just name the request. Okay, so I'll name it, let's say add joke, because I'm trying to add a joke here. Okay, and once I add it there, you should be able to see the request right here into your collection. You can see a get request being added there. Now if you have concentrated on the slide which I showed you about methods, you might know which method I'm going to use to add a joke onto the server. Which method should I use? I should use a post method. Okay, so let me select the post method here. Let me paste the URL. URL is going to again come from the basics of API, the documentation. Copy it from here. Okay, go there, paste, and then add a forward slash and add a joke there. Okay, looks good because the resource path is important. Okay, don't forget the resource path. The resource path is very, very important. Okay, so add it there. Yeah, post method. Thanks, Shivani. Now that we have added it here, click on save before we move forward. Click on save, and you can see that it will update the icon with a yellow color post request. Okay. Now hit a send and tell me what do you see in the response. What is the status code you see? Click on send button and tell me in the response what you see as a response. Yes. No, you haven't added the joke path, Shivani. That's why it will say method not allowed and it will give you a different code. You need to add forward slash joke before sending the request. because on the home page, the method is not allowed, but on the resource part joke, the method is allowed. You should see that the ID is missing. What about Sandesh and Mugda? Are you folks still there? Yeah. So once you add it here, right, you should see an error which says ID missing parameter and it says 400. Now anything from 400 to 500, you need to be scared because that is something which is bad happening onto the server. So it says bad request. Okay. Okay. Now, once we want to add the request onto the server, we need to make sure that we are sending the data to the server. And for doing that, we need to add a body. So here in the request, go to the fourth option, which is body. By default, you will see that the body is none. What I want you to do is click on raw and from text, click on JSON. Okay. So what do you need to do? Click on raw and from the text, click on JSON. Very, very important, clicking on JSON. It is not a text. We are working with REST APIs and REST APIs requires JSON as a format. Okay. Now that you are done with this, click on save before moving forward. Click on save. I don't want you to be like that. Click on save. Saving, always helps. Okay. Now, where I'm going to get this body from? Can someone tell me? Like, I don't know. I'm just using this API, right? So where am I going to get this body from? Who is going to give me this body or the structure of this body? What is the structure of this body? Can someone tell me? It's difficult, right? Where am I going to get this body from, right? It's difficult. So for that, we have documentation, right? So we skip the documentation right away. Let's go back to the documentation. How to open for documentation? Very simple. Go to the collection, click on these three dots and click on view documentation. It will open the documentation. No. Yeah, I was expecting this answer on this, that it will be same as in the get request. No, the reason for that is the developer might have added a timestamp in the backend. How would you know? You will never know, right? Because what has developed in the backend, you never know that. Okay, so it is highly recommended that you go and check the documentation. And here you can see that the body for post and put request is like this, and they have provided a structure. Fortunately, it is same as the get request, but it is not compulsory that it will be same everywhere. Now, what I want you to do is click on this button and copy this, or just select this and Control C copy this. Come back to the post request, which you can see in the tab up there, and paste it here. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to change the author to yourself. Make sure you change the author. You don't want to use my name. Okay. So add your name. Okay. Whatever your name is. Now, this is my name. So I'm going to keep it like that. Okay. So change it to your name. Okay. Maybe add something, like for example, Mugda or Shandes or Shivani, anything. Okay. And hit on send. Again, you should be receiving an error. Tell me what it is. Come on, folks, be quick. Because there are three people, so they should be, easily be able to do that. Yeah. Click on send and it should give you an error. Yes. What error do you get? So it says that, hey, the joke you're trying to add, yeah, Mugda is saying that, yeah, it already exists, right? So we need to add a new ID, joke one already exists. So change the ID. Now, because we have three people, right? Four people, ideally. So I'll use ID number 10. You can use any ID, but don't repeat it, okay? I would recommend you using 99 or 999. Any number works, okay? So I'll use 99. 99 is something favorite. So 99, and then I will hit enter, and I will add the joke. Now here you can see the status code is 201, meaning that it was created and it fulfilled my request. And here I can see the joke being returned in the body again. Yes. ID 5. Yeah, please give me the ID here in the chat because I need your ID. So I guess Sandesh has added a joke. So let me check his joke. So let me go to get joke and let me get check Sandesh joke, which is ID 5. Let me hit send and let me see. And I can see how do you write a joke using a port method. Okay, that is not a joke. Okay, cool. Let me check my joke, which is ID number 99. 99. Let me hit enter. And I can see my joke is added here. I see Shivani with ID 6. What about Mugda? What is your ID? ID 6 here. Okay, let me add ID 6 there. And then let me hit a send button there. I don't see it. Can you try adding it in, Shivani? Did you get 201? I don't see it. It says 404. Mugda, did you add it? If yes, give me your code. The ID, not the code, obviously. Oh, let me try 6 again. Sorry, Shivani, I'm not able to see that. Maybe you can try adding it again. Okay. Now that you see that, let me go to the joke number 5. I see that Sandesh has used my name there, right? So what I want Sandesh, no, Sandesh has used his name, but the joke is not that attractive. So I want him to, update the source because it is not coming from this source, right? He has created that joke himself. So the source is going to be himself, right? So now he wants to update this request, okay? Which method are we going to use? We are going to use put method, okay? So let us add that. Let us go to basics of API, click on this 3 dots, and click on add request, which is the third option. Name the request update joke. Which method? Put method, right? So put method. URL is going to be same. Let's go back to the basics of API. Copy. You can just copy it from the post request. It is better there because it is added directly. Copy it from the post request, paste it here. Okay. Do we need a body here? Yes, we need a body. So click on body, click on raw, click on JSON. Save before moving forward. Save it. Control S, save it. And you should be able to see the put symbol like this here. Okay. Now you need to obviously add a body here. So how are we going to do that? We can go to the basics of API, copy this body because it was for post and put both. So let's copy this body and come back to put request, paste it there. Remember to update the ID, which is 99. And I will keep the author as Ali Mustufa Shaikh, add my son in there. In the joke, I'm going to add my custom joke. For example, I am a full stack developer. Cause nahin, I like because I pull code from internet, right? Full stack developer, not a full stack developer. I hope that is funny. Okay. Now that I have added the joke, I have updated the name, right? Let me hit a send button. And it will not return anything. But what is the status code? 200, which says that there was some action which was completed onto the server side, but it didn't return anything to us. Okay. Yes. Are you able to see 204? How will I check if this got updated or not? Which is the request where from which I can check if it was updated or not? How will I check this? I'll check this using a method which we learned about, which is the very basic method. Yes. Get method, right? Yes. So let me go to the get method and see joke number 99. And here you can see I am a full stack developer because I pull code from the internet. You can also see this, okay? So you go to the get method and add my ID and you should be able to see my joke, okay? Perfect. Okay, so now let me see the joke number 6. If you have done it, let me see it. You can also see my joke, okay? So you can type 99 and then see it there. Ah, it again says joke number 6 not found, Shivani. I don't know if your joke is added there. I can see for joke number 5. Yeah, joke number 5. What two things you can never eat before breakfast? A lunch and a dinner. Okay, that is a lame joke. Okay, not a problem. But yeah, it is fun. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so I can see that we added this. Oh, Mugda is here with 15. I felt Mugda left because of my boring session. Okay, I see Mugda here. Bugs are features. MK. Oh, that is good. Okay. Yeah, that is good. What about others? Yeah, Shivangi, you can just try adding it. It'll just take a minute, like. Or you can tell me your joke, I'll update it for you. And you can check it on your machine using the get method. Okay, folks. Now I need to delete this joke. Like, I don't want this joke to be on the server. I want to delete this joke. Which is the method we are going to use? Yes, yes, yes. We are going to use. It didn't update. It will update if it gives you 206. Yeah, it will take some time. Okay. Yeah. See, I see you have updated it with my name. That's what I see. Unless you have added, unless you have changed this. Okay. So yeah. Okay, cool. So I need to delete this joke. Okay. So that is the last method which we're going to learn. So I'm not going to do that. You are going to do that. Okay. Which method are we going to use to delete the joke? Because we are learning about the code operation and this is the last operation we are going to do. Delete method. Perfect, Shivani. So can you folks do that for me? Can you check the syntax in the documentation? Come back and do that. Also, one more thing which I wanted to tell you is let me save this, okay? And once I start saving this, I can see that the documentation is automatically updated. You can see it is automatically updated with the post request, the put request. Now, once you add the delete method, it will automatically update the documentation with the delete method as well. Okay. So please do that for me. Also, for the nerds who want to see the code behind, you can click on the console right here, which is on the bottom left. Okay. So let me zoom that. On the bottom left, you can see a console. And if you click on the console, you can see all the requests which you have sent. Ah, I don't see. Okay, no, this is a public workspace. Sorry. Yeah. I can click on the console here and you can see that all the requests which I have sent, in this session. Why is it not zooming? Yeah, it is zooming right now. So here in the console, you can see, on the left hand side, it is bottom left here. This is where the console is situated. Yes, joke 5 is deleted. So here you can see in the console, you can see literally all the requests which you're sending, and you can see the logs here. So you can see the connection, the headers, the response body, everything there. Okay. At the same time, you can also see them in the history. You can see today's history, all this joke which I sent. Let me see if joke 5 was deleted. So let me check. It should give me 404. Okay. Joke 5. It gives me the joke. Did you delete it? Yeah, now it is not giving me because it was cached, right? So yeah, it was just, giving me the cache joke, but right now it says joke not found, right? Amazing. Give yourself a good pat because you've successfully completed the code operation in using Postman on APIs. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. So very simple. Here you can see, and once you save that, it will automatically add it here in the delete segment. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed it delivering it to you. Okay. So that was our hands-on session. Time for a recap. What we learned. Okay. So we learned about methods. Can someone tell me types of methods? Yes. What were the types of method we learned about? Yes, yes. Get, post, delete. Yes. And one more. Put, right? Get, post, put, and delete method. What are addresses and what is a resource path? Why you forgetting put method? put put would be like, scared, will like, hey, people not don't remember me. Okay, but I see Mugda remembering put method. No. Okay. I Sandesh has remembered the put method. Okay. Cool. So yeah, addresses are the host, and then there's a path, for example, /Joe or /anything. Then there's authorization. Now, what is the problem with the whole example which we did earlier? What is the main problem there? Anyone can delete my joke. Anyone can update my joke. Anyone can do anything onto that server, right? Anyone can add any bad joke there. So meaning that anyone can do literally anything with the server. There's a problem with integrity. There's a problem with consistency. There's a problem with proper access. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to add authorization. We need to make sure that people can only get the joke, or only authorized personals can add the joke or delete the joke or update the joke in that case, and so on and so forth. Okay. So authorization plays a very important role, and you will not find a lot of APIs without authorization. Most of the APIs use authorization to authorize the end user before giving them the access to their APIs. Okay. It is mostly in the form of API key, basic authentication, or a bearer token. There are multiple ways, but yeah, these are the common ways. Then talk about body data. In which request did we use body data? We did use body data, right? But in which type of request did we use body data? Mm-hmm. No, that was not raw. Raw is the type, right? The type of body we used was JSON, right? And we used the data. I guess someone rightly mentioned post and put, right? So we used it in the post request and in the put request. In the get request, we used query pattern. Okay, so yeah, remember that. Okay. Now, if you have attended the session till this moment, I want you to become certified. I want you to explore the opportunity and become a Postman student expert, just like Achal is. Okay. So you can become a Postman student expert in your campus and organize amazing events for API literacy. What you will learn in this course, you will learn about basics of request, you will learn about documentation, you will learn about basics of test script, you will learn about collection, and so many different things. You will also get a badge like this, which you can showcase on your LinkedIn profile, on your resume, and you will see a lot of employers are also preferring students to have this when they kind of go to the work. So please go in there and apply to become a Postman student expert. It is a very simple process. Go click on apply to become a Postman student expert and fill this form. It will hardly take a minute to mention that you came from this workshop, so that we have a track of it, right? So please apply and become a Postman student expert. Okay, cool. Now, if you want to win amazing swag, right? Then I would also want you to win amazing swag, right? And for that, what I want you to do is one thing. I hope you all use, social media. That was my first question, and that was a trick question. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to summarize your learnings, whatever you learned from the session, onto your LinkedIn or onto your Twitter using hashtag Postman Student. The best summarization will win a swag from Postman, and I'm more than happy to give all three of you who are very active in the chat swag. So please summarize your learning today itself. Post it using the hashtag Postman Student. You can tag me as well. I'm also available on LinkedIn. But yeah, that is totally fine if you don't tag me, but use the hashtag Student Expert. Okay. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing your summaries and getting connected with you folks. This is my LinkedIn. You can definitely check it out there and be part of this amazing cohort of student experts. Thank you so much. If you want to learn more about Postman, you will find this resources. There is learning.postman.com, which is where you will find a learning center where you will learn more about different things. And then there's explore.postman.com, which is where you will find our API network. You will find the COVID-19 API. You will find amazing APIs there. And there's community.postman.com, which is our community forums, where you will find a lot of helpful people who will help you with learning Postman and implementing that into your real world life. So if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to take a question or two. If there are no questions, thank you so much for attending. And I really hope you enjoyed the session and learned something from it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Ali, for such an insightful and interactive session on APIs and for giving your valuable time. I'm sure students have been able to get a very good hands-on experience on the same, and now they will be able to Postman too. And yeah, I hope we hope to learn more from you in the near future. So apart from this, there is already we have uh, the feedback form in the chat section. Go there. It will take another 2 minutes for you to and fill up the form. And once you're done with rolling out the certificates, depending on your enrollment only. So yeah, do that, and yeah, we are good to go.
Okay, thank you everyone. It was a pleasure to be here. Bye bye. See you, folks. Later on. So yeah, bye bye. Have fun.